how I am going to do this. I'm gonna make a new panel right here, basically, that's gonna house and have everything contained as far as the gear doors. So this panel, once it's all laid out and cured and the fiberglass and resin and all that stuff, then we will outline the gear doors and cut it out. Then we will basically hinge them onto this panel. This panel will be able to be removed while we're working on it, but the final be epoxied down in place. So the gear doors, basically try to minimize the screws. Instead of putting the 4 screws that I did per hinge like I did in version 2, we'll probably just do like 2 screws each hinge. That way, should something happen, because the surrounding panel will be glued in place, if we need to do maintenance or something, at least we can take off the doors, remove the doors. We will see how everything goes. This cardboard, I kind of formed it on the edge of the table so that it can follow the curvature, the airfoil of the wing. By doing so, even if there's already blow wells already opened up in here, this cardboard is stiff enough to provide the same airfoil. And then from there, we went ahead and put cling wrap. As you can see right now, you got the cling wrap pretty much all up on there. And then from here, we lay down the fiberglass. I'm going to do about 3 maybe. So I got 1, 2, 3. Okay, we got 4. So we will do 4 layers of this fiberglass. And this fiberglass is from Home Depot. I don't know exactly what the weight is, but this is it right here. It's 3M Bondo type cloth. Yeah, that's pretty much the info. But it's thick enough for what I need it to be. 3/4 ounce glass is just way too thin, and if I were to use 3/4 ounce glass, I'm gonna have to layer it up, maybe like 15 layers just to get decent thickness. So doing it this way with this glass, I think 3 layers is it's okay, but I think 3 layers is still gonna be a little bit flimsy. So we'll do the 4th layer and we'll see from there. So from here, do everything the way I do normal glassing on the full model. And then once we get all that resin basically laid out, then we'll start doing the layers. Some epoxy finishing resin mixed up here. So from here, we're just going to lay it all down. Hopefully I mixed enough. Okay. So right now it's just pretty much just like we do everything when it comes to the glassing part. It's just saturating the weaves. So just like that. Alright, so we're laying down the second. This is the second layer of glass. So what we do is just massage it in there. There we go, just like that. We're gonna go ahead, add some more resin, and continue the saturation process. I'm also pushing down into the weaves. That way we can ensure that this resin is really getting in there. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and add layer number 3. That way we know the excess resin is just not puddling up underneath and not doing anything but just adding weight. So by squeegeeing it out like this, basically we're ensuring that whatever excess we got there is really penetrating and we're utilizing all that resin. In other words, we're not making it go to waste. So, and then whatever excess resin I got right now in my cup, I will just finish this off. Be okay. That's just my experience from it. Okay, so just like that. So as you can see, what we're doing right now, this is layer number 3. I think we're golden. Of course, we're going to add one more layer. Alright, so that is the 4th layer of the fiberglass cloth. This is where we're at right now. So we got this whole section basically made out of fiberglass because originally I built this thing with the intention of doing retracts, of course, and we didn't have the retracts on hand, so all I did was looked at diagrams and photos online and I just did my own opening based on the wheel that I had on hand as well. It's just a little bit too big, and so that size that I originally had in all my previous photos, it really threw off the look of the way the doors stood against the wheel, the oleo strut, and just the opening in itself. It just looked way too big. All right, and so when you look at the photos here, it's my opening on this was almost double the width there, and so as you can see right here, that's pretty much just about the width of the oleo strut itself. So we can go ahead and make a new pattern. All right, make the actual doors and everything, and hopefully make it a little bit more proportional to the underside of this wing. So we're just also waiting for all ends and linkages to arrive. Ordered that like 4 days ago, and so we'll see when they arrive and build up the doors again, and this time we'll get it right. All right, guys, so as you can see, this is the second set, the second version of my gear doors, As you can see, I did the whole inner panel and everything like that on this, but you can see the difference as far as the size is concerned. So if you look at that door compared to this door, just look how much bigger that is. So that was a whole bunch of door that we don't really need. So the wheel is right there, right smack in there. And so I'm going to attempt to make this hinge with a rod and a fixed point right there, so it just swivels on that. It's going to be hinged with just a typical nylon hinge from the inside, like that. And so it's going to pivot right there. And of course we're going to build up the inside just like that, but it's going to be thinner because it's going to also house the connecting rod that goes from the landing gear cover to the actual oleo strut. Still working on the servo connection portion on this for this gear door right here. As you can see, I got that part there, so still gotta work on that part. I got the high-tech servos here, the micro ones. Figure out how we're gonna do that, and this is just work in progress. Is what we got so far. Okay, but yep, that's what we got. So I have 256, which is, that's not what I'm using there. What I'm using there is micro bowling setup. I don't know if you can see that. So this is the micro bowling number 929. So, you know, so because the 256, it's pretty big compared to that one. So it's a good thing I got the micro ones, and I think that will hold up. I don't know if you can see that too, coming through clear. There you go. Yep. So this is what we got. And then of course the gear door closes. And also I got the 3 1/4 Robart wheels on, the diamond tread. This is 3 1/4 diamond tread on there, and still got room there, so we're good. So yeah, work in progress is what we got, and I'm liking it. It's way better than version 2, that's for sure. And then of course, with the servo connected to the front arm here, we'll close it and keep it nice and tight. So still got to work on this part, but for the most part, we got those arms, and this position right here with that length basically gets it open and closed. So let's go do that again. This time from this view. So this is pretty much what I came up with for now. So I made this servo arm out of the excess fiberglass that I had, and I gave it this little slot so this can slide just like that. So this is going to get mounted to the side rail of the center portion of the wing. And as you can see right here, this is just rough mocked up stuff right now. So just imagine this stationary. I'm gonna try to hold it as good as I can. The servo is pretty strong, but this is what it's going to do. So when it opens, it's going to do that, and it's not going to move because of course this is going to be completely mounted solid. But when you close, it'll do that. Open, close, open, close, open, close, and it's really tight on this portion right here. Alright guys, so this is pretty much what we got as far as my mocked up scenario here. I don't have a sequencer in here, so I'm basically doing it based on the switches right now. Eventually, once I get this all ironed out, making it run very smooth and everything, especially after it's mounted where there's no flex or anything, and it's running good, then we'll get the sequencer and get this thing all tidied up. But this is what we got so far. So eventually the gear doors will go up, and then the clamshell doors will shut. Shell doors open up. Gear retracts or extends and closes. So yeah. So this is pretty much what we got. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to grab a thin ply, and then I'm going to cover this section here. So the only thing you would see basically will be this cutout for the hinge, and of course this portion right here. So I went ahead and I made a few changes basically to the clamshell door connection to the servo, as you can see right in there. So originally I had the servos in this little servo tray, and it was positioned right in the middle of this whole thing, and I made the servo horn like that to swing the doors open. Well, the problem I was having with that was without the plate here hard mounted, just taped on, I was getting a little bit of flex going upwards like that. It was binding so bad that the servo wasn't opening up the door. So scratch that plan. So I went ahead and I removed that. I made a new arm, as you can see right there. This time it's straight. This time I'm using the ball link. Oh, you can see right there. I'm using the ball link there. I'm gonna put you guys in there and I'm gonna activate it. So this is basically what it's doing. So it'll swing the door open and then close. Swing it open and close. And so I figured this one is a better fit for this. Plus I can push down on this and everything and it's still gonna swing the door open. Once I hard mount all this, as you can see right now, there's no flexing. There's no flexing on the fiberglass there. And so there you go. And so how I'm gonna do the other side, offset, as you can see, horn or the ball link is in the front on that side, so the ball link will be in the back side here, and so the arm and the servo, it will be staggered. It will be further back that way. So one servo on this side, the other servo on the other side, kind of offset each other and both doing the same function. So yeah, well, we're gonna try it. So I'm gonna go ahead and make up the other control horn. As you can see, I got it right there. Okay, so we're gonna look in the inside. This is how the servos are situated in there. All right. I know, look at all that paint, this chip, but you know, this is all gonna be in the inside of the fuse, so you ain't gonna see any of that. But anywho, so this is pretty much how this contraption looks. It's in there like that. Kind of staggered servos, and I'll go ahead and make it. I'm trying to do this with one hand. All right, so I'm gonna open it up. And you see how it's moving in there, kind of almost crisscross itself. It's not touching. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and lay the wing back down. And you can see there. We're going to open it up. Sorry for the camera angles, but you can't see everything in there. But yeah, that's pretty much how I got that going on now. So as you can see, it opens all the way up and closes. For the most part, I'm trying to lift it up. I think this is it. I got no flexing. There's no movement of this, the whole fiberglass plate. Everything is just nicely pivoting right there, as you can see. I also made one servo slower than the other. Close later, open later, and then retracts. Alright guys, I think that's it. To be honest, I really do. I'm actually getting better movement, no flexing. Servo is not, what do you call this, hanging up on anything there. Everything is all smooth, servos are not hot. So yeah, I like it. I think that's it. Now I'm just gonna try to get rid of the humming, but you know, digital servos and everything like that. All right, I forgot to get you guys this shot here. So this is the shot when the plane is flying, basically. So that's what we got. And yeah, it is what it is. Alright, I went ahead and I added screws right here, here, there, and so forth. It's basically just to keep everything nice and tight down once the epoxy dries. And then once the epoxy completely dries, then I can remove the screws and then of course fill the holes in and everything. So we got the epoxy applied, and so now we're just gonna wait for it to dry. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I added the body filler. Real thin layer, as you can see, you can almost see through. Just a thin layer. I'm going to sand it off. Whatever stays is the low spots. Alright, so there it is. So we got the fiberglass panel that I scratch built and tinkered around with for the past few weeks. Just trying to get the clamshell doors, the setup, servo connection, all that stuff to work flawlessly. And so with the setup that I currently got right now, it is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, and I'm loving it. So now, as you can see, the finished portion of the panel, we blended into the original sheeting and glass work. So now that I got it decent, not true to scale, but decent and working the way I want it to, just got to go ahead and finish up sanding the clamshell doors. I went ahead and I did that also. It's not true to scale or anything like that. Got to go ahead and finish sanding this smooth and everything. But yeah, it's just these gear doors now that need to get final sanded and primered, and then we'll go ahead and wait for this to completely cure, and then we'll wet sand this, then put the chart tape to continue on the panel lines, and spray that, wet sand that, pull the panel line tape off, and then continue on with the rivets. all the electronics is basically installed. Okay. Let's go cycle the landing gear. There you go. Cool. So update now, I got basically both switches hooked up. So we got the power on, power off, and then we got ignition on, off. Well, actually it's ignition on and then ignition off. So both pull back is on, push forward is off. So yeah, let's go sit down here, and that's basically how I got the switches. So it's glued in like that. You still can go ahead and loosen that nut and just take off the switches if you need to change it out or whatnot. But yeah, simple, easy. And you can see this is the ignition switch right here, and then this is the power switch. On the 27th of March, Friday. So this is basically what we got. So the only thing I didn't hook up is the battery to the ignition, because there's no sense in turning on the ignition right now at this point. But I am also waiting for LEDs. So we got on or on, off, that's the ignition, and this is the power. So back is power, and then forward is off. Back power. As you can see, we got that red light in the bottom, that's the receiver, but you can see the gauges, they're all lit up. Let me turn it off. That means we have power. That way you won't ever forget that you got your model on, and then turn it off. Left on, right, left, right, left, right. Up elevator, down elevator. Down. Left rudder, right rudder. And of course, this is all on dual rates. Mid rates, low rates. Low rates, mid rates, high rates. Throttle. Alrighty. GG.